More than 100 million tons of asphalt are ripped off America's roads every year, as if they were nothing more than disposable waste. But the strange part is that nearly 99% of that asphalt can actually be recycled almost forever. Yet quarries are still being dug deeper, and crude oil is still constantly being extracted just to replace damaged roads. By simply crushing it down, reheating it, and restoring the bitumen inside, old roads can be turned back into new roads again and again. So why is something that can be recycled almost endlessly still being wasted? Why asphalt can be recycled almost forever? So what makes asphalt one of the few materials that can be recycled almost endlessly? The answer lies in its structure. The stone inside asphalt does not really disappear after years of use. Even when roads crack, get crushed by heavy trucks, or are ripped off the ground, most of those stones are still there. They are simply broken down into smaller pieces. Even the black bitumen that acts like glue does not completely vanish. The problem is that after years of exposure to heat, rain, and millions of passing vehicles, the bitumen begins to oxidize. It gradually loses its flexibility, becoming drier, stiffer, and more prone to cracking over time. But that is not the end of the story. At asphalt recycling plants, old RAP material is crushed into smaller pieces and reheated inside massive mixing drums at temperatures reaching hundreds of degrees Celsius. After that, special rejuvenator oils are added to restore the aged bitumen, almost like softening a layer of glue that has dried out for years. The entire mixture is then remixed to create new asphalt once again, which means many of the roads out there never truly disappear. They are simply waiting to be torn up, reheated, and turned back into a new road all over again. So why isn't more asphalt being recycled? But if asphalt can be brought back to life this easily, why do millions of tons of old pavement still become waste every year? Most of the problem starts with concerns about quality. For decades, the asphalt industry has worried that using too much RAP could make roads more likely to crack, weaken faster, and deteriorate sooner over time. That is why many regulations only allow recycled asphalt mixtures to contain around 15 to 30% reclaimed material. The rest still has to come from new stone and new bitumen. But that is only part of the problem. The more recycled asphalt is used, the more emissions, smoke, and odor are produced during the heating process. In the asphalt industry, this is often referred to as blue smoke. Many older plants were simply never designed to handle those higher emission levels, especially when trying to recycle asphalt at large percentages. The blue smoke rising during asphalt recycling not only carries the characteristic pungent odor of heated bitumen, but also contains many chemical compounds that can irritate the eyes, cause breathing difficulties, and have long-term health effects if exposed regularly. A single continuously operating asphalt plant can release an amount of exhaust fumes and fine dust equivalent to that of dozens of diesel trucks running simultaneously, creating a pungent, acrid smell easily recognizable from a distance. And then there is another reason people talk about far less: money. Many asphalt companies also own quarries, aggregate operations, or bitumen supply chains connected to the oil industry. That means they still make enormous profits from newly extracted materials. If the entire industry shifted toward near-total recycling, demand for newly mined stone and freshly produced bitumen would drop significantly. But even if companies wanted to recycle more, asphalt is still extremely difficult to manage. It has to stay hot constantly, and once it cools, it quickly becomes unusable for paving. That means crushing, reheating, transporting, and paving all have to operate almost non-stop like one giant production line. And upgrading plants to handle large amounts of recycled asphalt requires expensive burners, filters, heated silos, and specialized trucks, costs many companies still avoid by sticking to older methods. Furthermore, if not handled carefully, asphalt can easily catch fire because it is made from petroleum, causing serious fires.
And they're just sitting there. They're not coming any closer. Oh, probably because of that airplane.
The recycling process. And to understand why this process is expensive and complex, let's visit a green asphalt factory to learn about the entire process. The asphalt recycling process actually begins the moment an old road is torn apart. Massive road milling machines grind away the asphalt surface using large rotating drums underneath the vehicle. In just a few minutes, an entire lane can be stripped away, turning into tons of black rappy that pours directly into the trucks driving behind it. From there, all of the old asphalt is transported to recycling plants. At the facility, dump trucks continuously unload RAP into enormous piles before loaders feed the material into crushing systems to break it down even further. But old asphalt does not only contain stone and bitumen. After years exposed to the outside world, it can also contain metal, trash, lane-marking paint, dirt, and even leaves. That's why this is the moment when the massive industrial crushers finally get to work. Giant loaders continuously dump chunks of recycled asphalt into the feed hopper, where heavy crushing rollers and jaws inside the machine begin breaking apart the rock-hard pavement. The material is then pulled through a vibrating conveyor system that screens and separates it by size, while oversized pieces are automatically sent back into the crusher for further processing. In many modern plants, powerful industrial magnets are also installed above the conveyor belts to remove leftover steel, nails, and other metal debris from the recycled mix. Sometimes, in some other factories, there are workers standing on the conveyor belt to sort these impurities. In the end, the evenly crushed RAP pours out non-stop into massive black stockpiles, ready to be reheated and reused to create new roads. Next, the excavators begin loading RAP into the feed hoppers, where a conveyor system continuously transports the entire material toward a giant rotating heating drum. Here, as mentioned earlier, RAP is typically only allowed to make up about 30% of the new asphalt mixture, while the rest remains fresh stone, sand, and bitumen to ensure the stability and longevity of the pavement. Then, the hopper gate opens, sending the entire material mix directly into a massive rotating heating drum that slowly spins non-stop. Inside this steel drum, which can stretch dozens of meters long, the RAP is heated by hot gas streams typically reaching around 400 degrees Fahrenheit, enough to soften the old bitumen and make it flexible again without burning or breaking it down. During its roughly 45-second journey through the drum, the material is constantly lifted and tumbled by steel flights inside, allowing heat to spread evenly across every stone and every layer of old asphalt. Once fully remixed, the new asphalt is transferred into enormous heated storage silos while it waits for transportation. Because asphalt cools down very quickly, time is almost the most important factor in the entire process. Then, the dump trucks already waiting below begin receiving the freshly produced asphalt mix, as it's discharged directly from the storage silo into their truck beds. At this stage, the material is still typically kept at nearly 300 degrees Fahrenheit, so the bitumen remains soft and sticky enough throughout transportation. Because if the asphalt cools down too quickly, the entire mix can harden and become almost impossible to pave properly to standard. Technicians also continuously collect samples directly from the fresh mix to test its load-bearing strength, moisture stability, and binder content to ensure everything meets paving specifications. Only after passing these quality checks is the material considered suitable to become part of the new roadway surface. As soon as the trucks are fully loaded, the drivers immediately pull a thermal tarp tightly over the top of the trailer before quickly heading out toward the paving site. Then, the asphalt paver slowly moves forward and begins spreading the hot mix evenly across the road surface in a continuous layer. Inside the machine, large augers constantly distribute the asphalt from side to side, while the screed at the rear smooths and levels the material to the exact thickness required. At this stage, the asphalt is still extremely hot and soft, allowing crews to shape the surface before it starts cooling and hardening. Right behind the paver, heavy road rollers immediately begin compacting the fresh asphalt with repeated passes, squeezing the material tightly together to create a dense, smooth, and durable roadway. Maybe the strangest thing about asphalt is not that it is made from crude oil. It is that the world continues to throw away material that can be reused almost endlessly. And if you were surprised to learn that the roads around us can actually be brought back to life over and over again, leave a comment below. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications to keep exploring the strange stories hidden behind the everyday things we see all around us.